Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to this Facebook Live that I have got in line for you today. It is going to be super cool, and I really want you to stick around and join this conversation because let's be honest, everybody has a role to play. And if you are here, just say hello because I'd love to see who's here. But I asked a question just earlier that over the years we go through different stages in our photography careers and ask which one sums you up. And does it really matter? Does it really matter if you're a newbie, a builder, a boomer, or an industry expert? Well, no, it doesn't really matter because everyone plays in a different space. So, just to define what these four are, just for those people that are joining us, and again, make sure you say hi. A newbie is someone who's just starting out in a professional capacity, not just picked up a camera and wants to learn how to do just stuff. Like it's someone who wants to pick up the profession to be a professional photographer newbie. Now that newbie might be someone for 3 months. You might be new for 3 years, whatever that looks like. Hey Ashton, hey Sienna and Emma, glad you're here. Then you've got a builder. Now, a builder is someone that you've been a professional photographer for quite a while and you're growing your business. You're still setting up your price list, your website, your systems, your procedures, your CRM, your softwares. You're learning how to market your business. You're learning how to connect with people. You're learning all the AI technology and the software and all that type of stuff. And let's be honest, we're always learning that no matter how long you've been in this industry. Hey, Rachel. But the builder stage is like, when you're at that stage, when you are literally building all those things. A boomer, I define a boomer is you've been in the photography industry for quite a while. You've pretty much got everything set up and you're just refining your business. As I said, you've always got stuff to learn, but you're refining your business and you're going from strength to strength. Okay. Then you've got your final group, which is your industry educators. You're a tiger that's earned its stripes. You've been a photographer quite a while. You've been a successful photographer. You've learnt skills. You've learnt the way of business and the way of photography. And you are passionate about photography. You love the industry and you love helping other photographers grow their business. You've got a community of your own, but at the same time, you're inspiring a community of your own, which is great. But there's a big but. You have a massive responsibility to play because if you put yourself in that position, like I have, and I understand this, you have a massive responsibility to play for the care, uptake, and looking after the people that you are mentoring, educating in that community space. Hey, Paul, I'm glad you made it as well. So they're just those four different areas. And the fifth one I'm going to throw in there, which I didn't put in there before, it's industry suppliers. ERS. Industry suppliers. That is all of your print labs, your B Pro, your Celdits, your Graphy, all of your software, your Fundy software, your Studio Ninja, your Peak Time, and everything else. Like they also have a major role to play because let's be honest, we cannot do what we do as professional photographers if our industry suppliers are not producing the best quality prints, albums, boxes, wall art. The software companies aren't coming up with the latest and greatest technology and AI and keeping their finger on the pulse as well. Hey, Marie, glad you're here. So, why does this matter? Why are we even talking about this? Let me tell you a little bit of a backstory, all right? The backstory goes like this. This is why, and trust me, stay with me. I'm probably going to be about 20 minutes, half an hour. Stay with me. If you can't watch this now, watch it later. But this is going to be a mic kind of dropping scenario, head blowing, going, I understand where all this is going in the ecosystem of your photography business. So I'll try to be quick, but please hang out, stay with me. I was a newbie, believe it or not. Don't let the grey hair fool you. Hey, Michael, I was a newbie. When I started as a photographer in the Whit Sundays, moved to the UK, moved back to Melbourne, and I joined this company called Excite Photography and Video. Little did I know that Excite Photography Video in Melbourne had some of the greatest photographers of all time working there, which is Nick and Jerry Gionis. They are rock stars of the industry. Obviously, Jerry is the founder of the Icon Awards, grandmaster superstar photographer, WPPI. He's been around for ages. He's one of the original educators and everything. Loved working for Jerry. And his brother, Nick, who's the older brother, I worked with a lot, photographing weddings and things. They turned to me one day when I started working there, saying, "Mark, are you available on like a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock? We're going to an industry event." And I went, "No worries, that's fine, all good." Now, when I started, it was an AIPP industry event, which was just a catch up evening type thing. Little did I know, as a newbie photographer, I would be meeting and rubbing shoulders with some of the greatest photographers in our industry at that time, right? As a newbie photographer, I was meeting some of my closest friends today that I've now got. Craig Wetchett, Steve Stallone, um, Damien Bowen, Robin Miller, Suzette Nazaya, Jared Jonas, Nick Jonas, Julian Walker, Shireen Hammond, Janelle. There was a whole lot of photographers that we met on that night. As a newbie, I had no idea who these people even kind of were, and there were a lot of newer photographers there, like Joel Dunn. You were there as well. And these new photographers, we were kind of like just building our business together. Now, little did I know that what that night meant 20 years ago put me into the position that I am today, where I'm now rubbing shoulders with industry educators and the boomers and these higher kind of level people that have been around forever. But little did I know when I turned up to that little basic event, that little catch up for AIPP, that it would catapult myself and my business exponentially over the 20-year career that I had at the same time. The best part is that I did meet people that were new that were starting out. I met the builders that were starting out. I met the boomers that were doing really well. And obviously, Jerry was the industry educator at that time. I had people that I met on that night that over the career of my time I connected with and really got together with, and they were the people that I turned to ask questions. I remember, hanging out with with a dean coming into the studio. I photographed the wedding with Shireen. I was kind of just connecting with different people, and there's nowhere that I would be today unless I made those connections in that time. Write in the comments if you are one of those people, and I think Michael, you'd be one of those people. You've been around for long enough that you remember those events that we had. All right. Write in the comments that those events that we used to turn up to. I've got a whole list of notes that I'm reading from too. Um, Now, so the point of being though is like it's kind of like I had people to turn to and connect with. And the main point is here, I was a newbie, they were boomers and industry leaders, and they took my hand and said, "Mark, what are you doing Tuesday night? Come to this event." Claire Pinder, exactly. Come to this event. It's amazing. You're going to meet some amazing people. And I would go, "No, I'm scared. I don't know anyone. I don't know what to do." All right. So the question is, how do these make a difference? Newbie. If you're a new photographer starting out, you need to, how does the ecosystem work here? As a new photographer starting out, you need to step out in faith. You need to get out there. You need to get yourself uncomfortable and you need to turn up to these events. Now, the builders out there, those builders who are those people that are, building up their businesses, this is perfect for you because you get to meet other builders. You get to go to events and workshops because you're learning. You want to see the newest, greatest products. You want to go to the latest workshops. You want to learn. You're like a sponge and you're kind of taking all this information in, and it's amazing. Boomers, I'm talking to you because I have an issue with boomers. Boomers do my head in. Boomers, you don't need to go to any event. You don't need to. Your business is set up. You're ready to go. There's nothing else that is going to really blow your mind. So you don't turn up to events. You don't turn up to webinars. You don't turn up to different things because you don't really need to. Let's be honest. And I'm hearing you. You don't really need to, but people turn up because they want to, not because you have to. But what I want to encourage with the boomers, we need boomers in our community. Michael O'Keefe, Claire Pinder, um, Emma Zealy, we need boomers. You'd love to if you're not so far away. Michael, we catch up every fortnight with the PBBN community and the live training. Turn up. But we need boomers. We need those people who have been there and gone there before us because they meet the builders, they meet the newbies, and they have like some of the best conversations and the best things we've learned is when you're on the back row of a seminar or when you're having a coffee catch up or at the lunch break or at the industry nights in between the drinks when you're meeting people and you're just connecting with people. Boomers, you don't need to be there, but what I would really strongly suggest that you come along to these events because they need you more than you need them, but you need to stay a part of that community space. Why? Because otherwise, what happens is you're like a piece of coal from the fire. When you're building, you're on fire. You're a sponge. You're taking it all in. You're surrounding yourself around other people, right? What happens, you take one piece of coal and you're like, I'm good. I'm hot. I'm on fire. I know what's going on. I've got this covered. We're all sorted. My business is booming. We're all good. Thanks, Mark. See you later. And you're off and you're doing your own thing. You take that piece of coal and you put that by itself, and all these other coals are working together, all these other people are on fire. How long do you think that you're going to survive by yourself in the cold for? You don't have that influx, that heat, that inspiration, that technology, those people inspiring you, iron sharpen iron, burning around you to keep you on fire. If I'm making any sense, please write in the comments. Am I preaching to the converted here? So this is a part, the boomers, where you play in the ecosystem of things is that we need you. The builders need you because we need to learn from you. The newbies need you because they need to inspire to you to go, oh my gosh, that's Michael O'Keefe. I saw him. He did that interview on the PBBN TV. He's got this amazing system that he works. Like, I loved it when he spoke about that. You know, um, you know, Claire Pinder, oh, she did that amazing talk that we saw in the masterclass with the videos. I wonder if I could go up and speak to her. And the best part is, all these boomers, Claire and Michael, and all these other people, I don't know who else is here, Emma Zealy as well, you are more than happy to impart some knowledge and information and connect with people who are starting out because you are there. You love to fish a line, throw a line out and go, hey, what do you need help with? What are you working on in your business? Can I help you? Do you need a conversation about something? Please, again, it's one of those things. Boomers, you fit in the industry really well, and we need you. We need the boomers as well. Educators, industry educators, this one's for you. And I can't see any on this call at the moment. So, right, if you're here, you love photography. You have a passion for people. You love teaching. You love helping people. You love the industry. You want to share your knowledge with people. We need more educators here. We need people to do masterclasses and PBBN TVs and do workshops and be speakers and run your own community groups. Because I can't be a Paula Brennan on the Sunshine Coast and run a group specifically designed for personal branding. I can't be a Joel Dunn and run a group specifically done for mindset. I can't be a Gary Hughes in the States and be a high level headshot guy. I can't be that person. But we need those educators around us in our communities. So when someone comes to me and go, Mark, I'm really struggling with I just can't get over my price list. The price list is fine and everything's fine. Can you turn me somewhere? Speak to Joel. You need a new mindset because I don't want to deal with that mindset stuff because I can't be bothered. But speak to Joel. He loves that stuff. If someone goes personal branding, I really want to get into personal branding. We've done your price list and products, but you want to go to the next stage, speak to Paula. Like, we need educators in that space. Now, how do we connect with these things? Now, back in the day, Michael, you wrote it, and Claire Pinder, you wrote it too. Hair of the Dog, the AIPP, the Baby Summit. Write in the comments if you ever turned up to any of those, right? Now, back in the day, the baby summit that Kelly Brown put on was amazing. You'd have 2 to 3 to 400 people in the room and speakers from around the world and suppliers coming together. But unfortunately, that died and fizzled out. We used to have the ARPP. You love it or hate it, it doesn't really matter. But the ARPP was really the first and only organization over 30 years that brought the community together. We used to do the red bus tours in Melbourne where we'll hire a red kind of London bus and we'll go from studio to studio to studio and meet people. We used to do things like on the lounge, on the couch. I got to meet when I was in Melbourne and moved to Brisbane, I got to meet one of my photography idols, Katrina Christ. And I tell you what, went to her studio and speaking to her, I was like a fanboy. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to meet Katrina. She was amazing. I saw her studio and we've become friends after that. And it's just been amazing. We used to do the state awards. So every year, Queensland, Adelaide, WA, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania didn't have one. Northern Territory, did they have one as well? No, I don't think so. Anyway, we used to do state awards and we used to get together once a year where we all just meet people and we'd do the judging and the awards and stuff. That's all gone. We don't have that anymore. Why? COVID really screwed that part over, but people didn't turn up. Where were the newbies? Where were the builders? Where were the boomers? Where were the industry educators? Where were the suppliers? It's like if you build it, they will come, but they didn't really come. So they kind of died. But we try to keep these things over the last 5 years. We had the education exchange in 2020 that I ran 30 days of education in April when COVID was at the highest. The clubhouse in 2021. Who remembers the clubhouse calls? We had the clubhouse calls every single Monday to Friday between 8:45 and 9:15, where we just connected and we talked and it was amazing. And we had this little clubhouse community. We'll get anywhere between 50 to 100 people every single morning in the room, right? So where's it all gone? Has it all it's all gone. We don't really have a community space. There is no more face-to-face events specifically in Australia apart from the industry nights, which I'll talk about after. But there's nothing in Australia. Now, if you go overseas, you've got WPPI, SWPP, New Zealand awards, and you've got a few little workshops here and there, but there's nothing in Australia that can bring the industry together and do face to face. Now, if you're an old photographer, I'm talking like right in the comments if I'm including you, say that's me. If you're an old photographer, I'm talking like 10 years plus, right? 10 years plus, okay? 10 years plus as an old photographer, we weren't so divided. The ARP was pretty much it. And you had a few educators. You had Sue Bryce, Jerry Jonas was one of the originals, Jovant, Marcus Bell. There were a few people who were in that educating space, but really the community of the ARPP and the PPA and the SWPP, they were the holders of that community space, right? We know how much we miss it. We know the good old days. Yes, we're that old, Claire. We know the good old days. We know how awesome the state awards were. We know how awesome APA was. We know how awesome these conferences were. We know that Baby Summit, I still remember the Baby Summit on the Sunshine Coast. No, on Caloundra, not Caloundra, Coolangatta, when Sue Bryce was talking and she brought the rain. The whole room was crying, the place was cheering, there was 400 photographers just on fire. This is the part of bringing people together with the fire that I'm trying to talk about. You're not a coal by yourself on the outset. We've brought people together and we set you on fire. It was amazing, right? Now, if you're a new photographer, you don't know how good it was. You don't know the good old days. You're so used to talking on Zoom and listening to lives and listening to tutorials and kind of being in your own little world. You think a community of coming together is a Zoom call. That's what you see as your community. Because now there's not just 5 or 6 educators around the world, there's hundreds of educators. There's not only 2 or 3 or 5 community groups. There's thousands of community groups. You just got to look into Facebook. Here's a question for everybody. How many photography Facebook groups are you in? How many photography Facebook groups are you in? There's the beginners group, the starting out group, the IPS group, the this group, the that group, the this group, the that group. I'm probably in about 20 to 30 photography community groups. But is there really a community? I don't know. Some people are and some people aren't. Serena, like you've got your group that's got more, you've got thousands of people in there that just want to start out in photography. I'm talking to you as an industry expert because you are responsible for those thousands of people to get the right content and information to you. So I'm talking to you when it comes to that space as well. Um, where was I at with that? Um, now, oh yeah. So, okay. So what does it all mean? Like, why am I even on this tangent? Do you have a role to play? Why am I even on this tangent in the first place? Because I kind of had an epiphany over the weekend, right? And this is the thing. So what does it all mean? Why am I bringing this up? It's because I need to read this half of it because I think this is really important. I want this industry to be strong. I want this industry to grow. I want this industry to be together because what we do today, we're looking after the future generations to come. Photographers that have gone before us, we are here today because of people like Sue and Jerry and Jovance and Marcus Bell and Suzette Nazaya and Katrina Christ and all these people that used to, Julian Walker with the workshops. Like all these people have walked before us to pave our way of where we are now. And I want to kind of go, Martin Shembry as well is a great one. Ian Poole, for those people who are from Queensland that know him really well. All these people have paved the way before us. So I don't want to be of that generation that lost the AIPP because we did overnight. Someone just went boom and it was gone. That's a whole nother story. I don't want to be a part of that conversation of going, remember when we used to have this amazing photography industry and now it's all divided in their own little spaces. We need to make sure that we carry this generation of photographers in the best degree as we possibly can because we want to make sure that we are leaving a good trail on the industry and not destroying it, we're building it up. That is why. So, coming towards the end now, I promise. So it's time to show up. It's time to be professional. It's time to be accountable and it's time to contribute to the industry. You know what I mean? Like all of you, we need to protect our industry, support the industry that supports you. So if we do have the Australia-wide industry nights, if there is a WPPI conference, the PPA conference, an SWPP conference, the New Zealand conference, you know, if we do have those industry nights, support the industry that supports you. If B Pro is going on their roadshow in Northern Queensland, take the time out to go see them. If Celdex is going to go to Perth, which I know that they're doing, take the time out to go and see them because it's one of those things that you need to support the industry that supports you. Because I can tell you now, when that client calls you and go, Mark, can you print one of these for me? You can get on the phone to B Pro, Celdex, any of those guys, and be like, hey, I need this. I need this. Can you help me out? Studio Ninja goes down. Your CRM is gone. Who are you going to call? Not Ghostbusters. Studio Ninja. And then you're going to get that help and support. You need to build relationships with your suppliers. You need to build relationships with other people. This is your passion. In the comments, tell me if this is your passion, if photography is the thing that you do. Please tell me if photography is the thing you do. If this is your passion, don't be the coal on the outside. Get amongst it. Get into the community. Contribute. Show up. Turn up. Don't be by yourself. Don't be isolated. You know, we don't want to be another AIPP and let things fizzle out. We don't want that to happen. We need our community to work together of the five of us to be really strong. So where do you show up? Where do you show up on these things? For starters, there's two groups of things that you can show up to. The first one is an industry event. WPPI is an industry event. PPA in America is an industry event. SWPP, and they've got heaps of conferences in the UK. Now, the difference is with the UK, they have like 6 conferences in a year. You might not go to all 6, but just go to 1 or 2 of them. Do you know what? New Zealand, you only have these New Zealand conferences once a year. Get on the plane and get your ass to New Zealand and turn up. Paul, if you're a landscape photographer, go to the Bright conference that's in Victoria and be amongst the landscape photographers. When I say industry events, I'm meaning like an event where there are multiple suppliers with a whole range of people. Then there's the other type, right? Workshops. Now, I'm running the marketing workshop around Australia. I know there's hundreds of workshops. There's a baby workshop, there's a headshot workshop, there's a birth workshop, there's a workshop in every state, there's an underwater workshop from different people. They're individual people. So I'm an individual person in a workshop. I'm not saying to turn up to all of those. Turn up to those that you need to turn up for to get the help that you need. Okay. This is the part where it's kind of like, now I need you guys, educators, I need you educators. I need you industry educators. Are you hearing me? I need you to tell me what's going on so I can put it in the Professional Photography Business Network and I can put it onto these pages and I can say, hey, did you know that Katie Cronenberg from the ACT is running a 3-day event? You got to turn up to it. Did you know that Craig and Charlotte have got this unleashed course for pet photography? You need to go do that. Did you know that Jerry Jonas is in town in Melbourne and his 5-day workshop in the wedding industry is on? You should go to that. So, industry educators, tell me what you're doing so I can share the love and let people know about what you're doing. Everybody else out there, I need you to be the eyes and ears for me. I can't be across everything. And let me know what's happening in the industry, who's doing what event is on. Let me know if there's someone in your space, on your Instagram space, your Facebook space, or in your area who's rocking it. And you're like, Mark, check out Michael O'Keefe in Tasmania. He's a male newborn photographer and he is rocking it. He is doing an amazing job. You got to interview him. If someone's doing a kick-ass job in your industry, in your community, in your space, let me know so I can actually reach them and be, hey, I heard, Michael, that you're doing amazing things. Can I interview you? Can you do a masterclass on teaching something as well? Paul, on the PBBN website, there's an events page. It's on there, but there's not many there because I can't be across everything and people need to tell me more as well. Before I go too far, then we've got, so you've got your industry nights and your industry events, and then you've got your workshops. So there's 2 different things. Talking about this, and this is the selfish part of what I'm going to say now, the industry nights in Australia. Sydney, 20th of May. Melbourne, 17th of June. Adelaide, 29th of July. Christchurch, New Zealand, I'm coming there on the 4th of August. Brisbane, the 19th. I would love to see you there because it's one of those things. If you're a newbie, you're going to be nervous and you're going to go, should I? Nah, I can't be bothered. It's nerve wracking. If you're a building, you're going to learn. You're going to meet suppliers. You're going to be inspired by the speakers. You're going to have Q&A questions. You're going to be able to meet awesome people. If you're a boomer, you don't need to be there. Technically, you don't need to be there because you're like, why do I need to go? You know, someone like Tanner, you're a boomer industry educator. Tanner's like, I don't need to hear from Katrina. I love Katrina. I don't really need to hear from her. And I've already got my supplies. I don't need any other new kind of products, but I'm going to support the industry that supports her. And I get to meet people that I've connected with on Instagram and Facebook, and we're going to connect with different people. Come to the industry nights. Even the boomers have been around for ages. Ben Hall, wedding photographer extraordinaire from Queensland. Over the years, we've had 60 to 80 people turning up every single night to these different places. So book your ticket and get it now. Now they're $55 a ticket. Why can't I make it free? Because these rooms are freaking expensive. The rooms and the food blow out pretty much everything, and it costs a fortune to run these events. And to be honest, most of the time, if I walk away with $500, I'm lucky to do that. So turn up to the events, get your ticket now. Don't freak me out. What's your next step? The next step, and I'm going to end with this, okay? Your next step is that stay on fire, stay connected, stay in the present, stay around your community, be a part of the community, support the industry that supports you. Your next step is book at your industry night tickets straight away. Step number 3, support your local events, okay? If you've got a local event, like the Todd Hub, Stacey in Sydney, she's creating these local community events. Iron sharpens iron. Get around people. Yes, you might be a boomer hanging around newbie people, and you might be like, what's in it for me? The fact that newbies and builders inspire me because they're full of fire. And they're like, come on, we're going to make this business work. Where boomers, they're so relaxed, they've been around for so long, it's kind of like, meh, whatever. Kind of like, you know, I'll turn up if I have to, but I don't really need to. You need to turn up. All right. If you haven't got a local catch up in your area, start one. Do a coffee catch up. Do a coffee catch up. Connect with people. Go, hey, I'm going to go to this park. I know in Brisbane we did it a few times where we had photographers with families meet in parks because we could. Fourth thing, be the eyes and ears. If there's an event, a PBBN TV, if there's a masterclass, if there's something that you can contribute to, if I'm talking to you, if I'm talking, you're like, you know what? Maybe I could talk about this. And I'm not an expert, but sometimes, I don't want to hear from experts. I don't want to hear from industry educators all the time. I want to hear from the boomers and the builders and the newbies. Like I heard from Brooke with the PBN TV I did the other week, right? She's virtually a newbie starting out in the building phase, and she's killing it. Great inspiration. Um, 2 more, and then I'm gone. Educators. Industry educator. If you have a community and Facebook group, the buck stops with you. You have put yourself in this leadership pinnacle space. Own it and be responsible for it. If you're in a group, you need to look at who is an overarching person in this space, who's looking after that group, and do they have the best intentions for you? Are they getting the best content with the best information, with the best support as well? So, as an educator, you need to set the positive culture. You need to be the people in those groups who are setting that expectation and standard. You are got to be the ones that goes, I live in New Zealand. I'm going to go to the New Zealand Awards because as an industry educator, I should be paving the way for everybody else. Paula in the Sunshine Coast, who is a headshot personal branding photographer, said, Mark, what do you need? She's an industry educator and she's paving the way for the rest of them. If you're an industry educator in any description at all, you should be coming to these industry nights because you are paving the way for everybody else. Put the, what's that, shoe on the other foot. If you are running an event that is an industry night, please let me know. I want to come to it. I want to go to those events. I want to be turning up. I want to connect with people. The APP had an event in Melbourne last year, and I'm like, yay, an industry event. I'm coming. When do I have to be there? What are the dates? What are the flights? Let me know so I can share the love and let other people know that you're running these events too. Number 6, and I'm going to end with this, it's time to show up. Please show up. It's time to stand up. It's time to show up. It's time to be professional. It's time to be accountable. It's time to be connected because, again, the main talk about all of this is that you know, we want you. I've got it in my notes. I'm trying to finish this well. We want to pave the way for future generations of photographers. We want to create and set the standards to collaborate with the industry, with the PBBN, or if it's not at this stage, I don't care. But we want to be the trendsetters and we want to pave the way for this entire community because I know as a newbie, I would not be where I am today, or even as a photographer where I was when I grew my studio to 500 family portraits and 20 weddings a year and a team of two. I could not do that in that 18 months period of time if I was a newbie standing out on the side. I only achieved those things because I surrounded myself by industry leaders, suppliers, boomers, and builders that I could work with side by side. I could look up to and talk to and go, hey, can you give me a hand up? I don't want a hand out. I just need a hand up. I just need some help with this. And then the newbie people could be like, hey, this is what I learned. Hey guys, this is what I learned. I want to be the tide that raises all the ships and make sure this industry is going to be awesome. If you've loved this, please write in the comments. If I've struck a chord with you, please write in the comments as well. You guys are awesome. Thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it. Now, just going back, Brian, it's interesting listening to this. In the States, as a corporate photographer, there's zero community, just competition. I feel like with portrait and wedding shooters, there's so much out there outside of that thought. There's not much. Yeah, commercials, a whole different space. Oh, Nick Dionis, I've been talking about you. Nick, how long have you been listening for? Because you are like one of my big inspirations in this entire talk. So if you get the chance, re-listen to this because I talk about you throughout the whole thing because you like just listen to it. I don't want to repeat it. But I tell you what though, without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I know that you know that, but I just want to say that you're awesome in front of everybody. Hey, if you have any questions, any information, Michael checking dates, come to Melbourne, Michael. It's awesome. Any questions, any thoughts, please yell out to me. If this has inspired you at all, yell out to me. If this has bored you, don't tell me because I don't care. No. So yeah, so Nick, go back and listen to this because I think you're going to love it because I think it really strikes a chord with everything that you are and your being and what you and your brother have done for the entire industry. And we wouldn't be here as an industry today without you in it. So I speak about you and a whole lot of awesome people. So yeah, anyway, I don't want to get emotional on Facebook Live. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. Show up, be accountable. We all have a role to play. Stop hiding in your little hidey holes. Get around other people and stop isolating yourself and show up. Show up, come to the events, and I can't wait to see you there. Have an awesome day, guys. See you. Bye.